cassettes. In the 70s, Philips made this thingy called a compact cassette. Basically, they wanted to make portable audio recorders, and this was how they did it. Back in the day, you couldn't just put in the back days, you couldn't put solid state storage in something. You had to have a removable thingy to put your noises on. Anyways, this thing basically took over the world, because due to complicated shenanigans involving, these guys, Philips basically ended up being in the position where if they were going to get anyone else to use it, they had to give it away for free. And that meant that everybody used it, because it was free. Now this is a good little guy who listens to audio. I mean, hell, this thing outlived everything. It was certainly stuck around in mainstream longer than vinyl before the whole hipster thing happened. And, it thoroughly beat out its so-called digital replacements for a very long time until the iPod came around. But it only does sounds, it only does little noises. What if I wanted to watch something? You know this guy? It's VHS. This thing is basically the open source knockoff of a thing Sony made called Betamax, which, it was pretty cool. But the thing is, Sony was, from the 70s until today, obsessed. They were drunk on miniaturization juice. And they wanted their Betamax cassettes to be small. My bet is that they were probably targeting a paperback. And the thing is that led to their main cassette being just 1 hour long. The smallest VHS tape you could buy the year it released, the same year as Betamax released, was twice that at 2 hours. The longest, and you could get longer tapes that did 2.5, maybe 3 hours. And at launch, VHS had a long play mode that could reduce the picture quality a bit, but would double the tape length in terms of playtime to 4 hours. You could fit a whole football game on a VHS, and Beta was dead. That just killed it. That curb stomped it into the ground. And so Sony was really upset. And the thing is, portability does matter. Because, what if you wanted to take a video yourself on a cassette, on one of these tapes? Well, you certainly don't want to carry around something big enough that you can hold a VHS tape in it. That's crazy. You'd want something about the size of this. What if I told you there was something even smaller than this? Right? Maybe they could have made this. They couldn't have. This is a much later technology. This thing's from the 2000s. This is actually the third revision of a thing called DV. It stands for digital video. Wonder why. It looks like this. It's like a tiny little VHS. Look at him. He's so teeny. He's a little guy. But Sony instead made this boy. They had this insane plan to backdoor this guy into being the main videotape, into beating VHS. They were gonna hook you with camcorders, and then they would sell you VCRs and movies with with video 8 stuff. This is actually high 8. That's the second revision out of 3. The final revision was digital 8. But yeah, look at it. It's tiny. Here, wait. Don't talk to me or my son ever again. Don't talk to me or my son ever again. You see, if I had my way, I would be making a video about these. Because they're so tiny and so weird, and they're a tiny, obscure little thing, and I love it. I don't have a camera that takes these. I do have 2 of them, but no camera. What I do have a camera for is this boy. Is Sony's High 8. It's not a Sony camera. No. It's a Sharp camera. Look at this big boy. Sharp would do this thing where basically if Sony launched an obscure video or an obscure anything format to middling success, Sharp would be right there with them. Because the thing is, like, Sony doesn't really make, like, budget stuff, especially not at first. They make, like, good stuff. They make high-end stuff. Like, this thing cost $700 in 1997. That's so much money. I couldn't afford a $700 music player now. In the 90s? Hell no. And the cameras were the same way. Sony made big, expensive cameras, and Sharp made cheap, weird cameras right alongside them. Okay, first I want to show you the eject, because this thing is crazy. Like, and here I'm gonna cut to an insert I already recorded of the other side of this eject mechanism, because you can actually see the tape head and the wheels all moving really well from that camera angle. Anyways, once you got your dumb little tape in there, it's all cozy in there, you just close it on up, and you can turn it to one of two modes. There's off, and VCR, and camera. We're gonna start with this mode because it's stupid. Actually, here, we'll start on camera. Camera mode is a camera. You can see what the player sees. It's a little camera. Wow. That's so cool. But this other mode here, this VCR mode, is really funny to me because VCR stands for Video Cassette Recorder. This thing has no video inputs. This is an output. And this is a playback only mode. You're real smart there, Sharp. No wonder you're called Sharp. You're so clever. Anyway, speaking of the VCR mode, now you can watch a video I recorded. Boop. Isn't that wonderful? Anyways, yeah, that's basically it. It's just look at this cool tape. Look at this cool camera. I don't really have a point. This video doesn't have an ending. Goodbye.